Good morning, Las Vegas. It's Zandra Pollard. It's where I am. Today, we want to make sure that we give a special shout out to Sluggin' the Magazine, who is our sponsor for today's show. Now, let's get into business. We have a wonderful guest here today who is wearing a tiara.
Yes.
If you can't see her, please make sure you go to itswhereiam.com and you can check out the visual.
Thank you.
There, yes. So I want to welcome Ashley Tesoro.
Hello.
Thank you for coming in studio today. She is Mrs. Universe.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Universe.
You got that right.
But you have so many titles, right? There's 4. There's Mrs. Universe. There's Mrs. Nevada America, Mrs. Nevada International, and Mrs. Nevada Universe.
Yes.
So you are the first to have 4 consecutive titles.
I do have, I'm currently the reigning Mrs. Universe.
Okay.
And I have had multiple other titles. I've been in pageants for a very long time. Blessed with like a really good run. And so, yes, I was 3-time Mrs. Nevada in 3 different pageant systems. I am a 3-time national competitor. I am the current international national title holder. And I have another actually special announcement with something like new coming up.
Oh, already?
A new title
Okay.
coming up.
Okay.
Yes, which I'd love to announce here today
Sure.
with you.
Sure.
So yeah, it's been a really great journey. I'm really blessed
Yes.
to be here on this journey.
You know what? Well, this is a profession now for sure. I mean, you can tell us everything about pageants, right?
Yes.
Yes. Oh
Yes.
my goodness. So when did you start?
Well, I actually started at the age of 6. So I
Okay.
actually have multiple titles from when I was a child as well, in addition to my adult titles. I was, just a sweet little girl in San Diego, California, loved being on the stage. My mom put me in my first beauty pageant at age 6. I was crowned multiple times, Little Miss California. I went to the Little Miss America contest. At that point, I did get discovered by an LA agent and manager, and I was a soap opera actress for many years.
That's right.
Yes.
So what soap opera were you on?
So I was on The Bold and the Beautiful.
Okay.
CBS.
Okay, I know that one.
Yes, and I've done, I guess, 8 movies, multiple modeling campaigns,
And,
commercials.
Sitcoms
And Saved
too.
by, oh yeah, I can't forget Saved
Yeah.
by the Bell.
Hello.
I'm sure there's got to be some Saved by the Bell fans out there.
Right.
The, new class.
season. The new class. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then Highway to Heaven. Was it Highway to
So
Heaven?
I
or
did Seventh Heaven.
Seventh Heaven.
Yes, so that's
Okay.
that was an Aaron Spelling show. So I did Seventh Heaven. Like I said, a lot of different movies.
You look so young. I mean, when did you start the acting career?
Well, I probably look younger than I am, so I appreciate the compliment. But I did start all my entertainment endeavors at the age of 6.
Oh,
So I've
okay.
been going for a really long time.
Gotcha.
And then I did get married. I had children, took a little break, went to college,
Okay.
got a psychology and communications degree.
Nice. Me
rec-
too.
Yes,
I
girl.
love it.
And then I actually recently just got my teaching credential, so I'll be
Nice.
able to teach kindergarten through 12th grade here in Nevada.
Me too.
Yes, we have a lot in common.
Wow, look at that.
And I'm a public speaker, so I've tried to really branch out. I love entertainment. It's such an incredible art, various art forms within the entertainment umbrella, but I've also done a lot of academic things and public speaking, and I'm a nonprofit executive.
Okay.
So, and then I decided, I got asked to be a judge at a pageant for little girls. Okay. And I got rediscovered for pageants there in 2019.
Oh.
One of the directors of the Mrs. Nevada pageant here discovered me and said, "Oh, I'm so glad you're a judge for me, but how come you're not competing for Mrs. Nevada? You need to be competing." And I said, "Well, I have no idea that married women's pageants even exist. I didn't know
Neither
at that
did
time."
I. Okay.
Yes. And she just kind of schooled me on the whole thing. I went in my first try and won.
Okay.
There was a lot of women that I think were disappointed because they had been coming back and trying for multiple years, and I just kind of stepped in there and was like, "Hey, this is my time, my lane, my year. I'm going to do it." And I think I had going for me the fact that I was already a nonprofit executive doing a lot of extensive charity work, and I knew the stage very well, which you have to have both of those things to be a very successful
strong
pageant
communication
competitor.
skills.
Thank you.
Yes.
And so that's I think what led me to the success, and then I've just really been doing well with it.
Okay. Well, thank you for all of that
Yes.
background. Now, I want to get into it in terms of the mental health piece.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. So, being a child,
Yes.
starting out in pageants, a lot of times we hear that parents are living vicariously through their children.
Yes.
Was that something you feel like your mom was doing, trying to start you out in the pageants, or?
Well, I think that my mother definitely had a dream for me for pageants in the aspect of, she was a beauty queen.
Okay.
She won a title. She was in the newspaper. And then she chose to be a full-time mother and to be in the home. And she's like amazing with that, caring for her children in her home. And she didn't pursue beyond that time frame when she was a teenager at the pageants.
Okay.
My dad is a doctor. She helped him get through school, and she decided to dedicate to helping him and to raising her family. So I have no doubt that she probably had some aspirations that she wanted to have achieved, but she gave up a lot of those dreams and sacrificed
Yes.
for her family, which I greatly respect. And she gave me the opportunity to kind of pick up where she left off. And because I really loved it, it worked out, because I would tell her, I mean, she put me in my first pageant, but once she did, I was gung-ho.
Okay.
And I just couldn't, I wanted to be on the stage. But absolutely, from a mental health perspective, once you get deep into the industry, I was, as a young child, very deeply into the entertainment industry. I did very well. I was successful. And there's a lot of things that come along with that. I mean,
Oh, sure.
I definitely experienced
I mean, from pageants
sadness,
into
loneliness at times,
television.
some childhood
Yes.
emotions that, yeah, you go through things. It's a very harsh industry.
I have a lot of friends who are entertainers, and there was always the feeling of not feeling good enough, right? Because you're
Yes.
auditioning for things,
Yes.
right? And you feel like maybe you've done your very best and you're not chosen, and you don't know why.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 12 years old and being given notes back from casting directors. Oh, put your padded bra on your daughter. She doesn't look mature enough.
Yes.
Or, oh, she, her hair color is too this or she's too that. There's all these things. And so that definitely plays a role in how you feel about yourself, especially being impressionable and being young. And in those years, they're very formidable years where you're trying to find who you are.
Yes, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's the body image issue,
Of
right?
course.
And the comparing
Yes.
of one another.
Yes.
Right. So what is that like when you see someone that maybe has a hair type you like,
Yeah.
or a different body type that you
Yes.
like, and trying to match up to that?
Well,
Explain that to me.
As a child, it was for me always feeling very too skinny. So I was
Okay.
always told,
Me
oh,
too.
yes, yes, you have no breasts.
Yes.
You're very skinny. I was like skinny, and there's obviously nothing wrong with that, but I wasn't developed at a young age. Obviously, I grew into myself.
Right.
I've learned to be very comfortable in my skin. I'm very happy to share that I've gone
How
on this
did you
journey.
get there, though? How did you get there when
So,
you're always
well,
dealing
one
with
of the
that?
things that one of the ways that I got there, number one, was I took a step out of the industry. So
Okay.
there was a time period in my life when I met my husband at his Bible study in LA, and he had a charity organization. He was very young. We were very young. I was 18 and he was very early 20s. And I decided, I think I need a mental health break. And sometimes you can't heal when you're staying in something that's toxic.
That's right.
So I had to, at a very young age, like 19, 20 years old, 18 to 20, transition out of Hollywood for a time and rediscover who I was outside of the Hollywood actress, girl, model, whatever. And that's when I decided, to go on the self-discovery journey, go to college. It was very difficult. I also turned to my faith. So I'm a Christian, and that helped me. Not necessarily being religious per se, and not necessarily having to go to church more, but actually finding God's presence inside of me.
Okay.
So that gave me internal peace and connecting with God on that one-on-one level, and recognizing that I'm unique and I'm the only one of my kind.
Love it.
And he broke the mold when he made me. And when I had that revelation, I grew into my strength as a woman and realized, because I was bullied a lot too. So when I was younger, I was bullied a lot. I think because I was really nice and tried to make people like me because I was on TV, and I didn't want them to think I was stuck up. I didn't want them to think I was this privileged, stuck up girl. So I just would overly be friendly with people, even when they were rude to me. And then I realized I can be nice and be kind, but I don't have to take abuse. I don't have
That's
to take
right.
bully behavior. I've earned space in this world. God gave me life, and I earned my space, and nobody gets to like take advantage of that.
Yes.
And I don't step on people's toes, and they don't get to step on mine.
That's right.
And I've become really strong in that. And I have created for myself strong boundaries. And with strong boundaries comes self peace and respect.
Yes. I love that. That is a great message for our youth,
Yes.
right? Can you give them something else, something? Because that was one of my questions,
Yes.
but you kind of gave that already.
Yes.
So is there anything special you want to make sure you let our young listeners know?
Well, just the message, one of my main messages in my platform as just a human being, but also in my Mrs. Universe title, is to say you're unique and there isn't anybody else like you. So it sounds cliche and it sounds this way and that way, but comparison is the root of complete despair
Okay.
and frustration and self-hatred,
Yeah.
because you're always going to look at somebody else that you think the grass is greener on the other side
That's
of the
right.
hill. But you have to step into your strength and power as a young girl, a young boy, a woman, whoever you are, and know that you're okay just as you are, and to be your authentic self. You're not going to do well being somebody else.
That's right.
You got to be yourself.
That's right.
And at the end of the day, you're not going to be everybody's flavor, and who cares? There's a
love it.
lot of people in the world. Go find your group.
So you do very well with the interview questions on
you.
stage. Yes.
I think so. I had a little practice.
Yeah, I see.
But I think it resonates because it comes from a real place. There's a
Love
lot
it,
of
yes.
women that are very gifted in pageantry and they do very well, but when they're not authentic, it's not coming from a real place. It's like, oh, that's a really good, like, well done scripted answer.
Yes.
But it's like when you get goosebumps and when you feel it in your soul and it's like something deeper, it's because you're being authentic and it's real and it's coming from a place of, like, I've been there, like I've been around the block, I've been through things. And you could look at me and think, oh wow, like she's been through nothing, right? But no, I've learned to dance in the rain. I've learned to be a whole woman in the midst of difficult times. I've learned to be better, not bitter. I've learned to use the stumbling blocks as stepping stones. And those are really good one-liners, but they're coming from a real place.
Right. I love it.
Yeah.
So now with you now having, how many children do you have?
3.
Okay.
Yes.
You have 3 children.
3 children.
So what are they doing? What are you hoping to see for them? Your mom wanted you
Yes.
to try pageantry.
She did. She did.
What are you hoping for from yours?
Well, I'm not going to lie. When I find gifts in my kids that are just like me, I love it. Right?
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh, that's just like mommy. Like my little 5-year-old loves to model. She loves to be in front of the camera. She loves makeup. And I love all those things. So I'm like, oh, we really, and she looks identical to my husband and she's my personality. So it's fun.
Okay.
My older daughter is so beautiful and her personality is so opposite of me. She likes nature. Not that I dislike nature, but it's like she just wants nature. She wants to wear her ripped jeans. She doesn't want to wear makeup. She doesn't want to dress.
Okay.
She is beautiful and like gifted on stage. She's a beautiful dancer. She does dancing and everything. But if she can just be like with her hair in the breeze, with nature and just not having to be in front of the camera all the time, she's really happy. Okay. So I think learning to accept our children for who they are and recognize that we made these little human beings, but they were given special gifts, talents, and personalities from God that are going to be different sometimes than who we are.
Yes.
As a parent to them. And so accepting that and just love, and I just want them to find peace and joy. I want them to be safe and I want them to find their passion. Like if they find their passion in life and they live it, I will be so happy. I want them to be productive human beings. Like no parent wants to look into the future and see anything bad happening to their child or for
Absolutely
their child to
not.
be a criminal or to enter in anything bad. So if they can be good, wholesome human beings, find their passion,
And self-sufficient.
self-sufficient, live their authentic life and
Yes.
self, I'm good. I don't need them to be anything other than that.
So it sounds like 2 girls, older, younger, and then is there a boy in the middle?
Yes.
Okay.
So I have a 10-year-old daughter who's my free-spirited nature girl. And then my little 5-year-old who's my little beauty queen that, loves all the frills. And then I have an 8-year-old son who is super smart. He loves coding and computers. I don't understand any of it. And he loves sports too, which is interesting because he does like all of the brainiac stuff and the sports
Okay.
equally well. And yeah, I mean, they're very good humans.
So tell us now about your nonprofit. So your
Yes.
husband is a businessman and a pastor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And a stuntman in
And a
entertainment.
stunt man.
Yes, martial
Okay.
artist. He's getting ready to be inducted into the Martial Arts Hall of Fame here
Oh,
in
wow.
Las Vegas, July
So
20th.
kudos.
Super proud of him. Yes.
Yes. Wow. So a pastor who can kick
Yes.
tail. Okay.
Yes, he
All
can
right.
kick butt spiritually, physically. He's pretty
Nice.
cool.
Nice.
Yes.
So tell us about the nonprofit.
So our nonprofit was founded actually before my husband and I even met. He founded it in LA, California at the age of 20.
Okay.
His father owns the largest institutional stock brokerage firm in the world, and he worked for his dad right out of high school and then decided that he wanted to help people.
Okay.
And so he started volunteering at his church in Malibu, California. He's a surfer boy and California kid, and fell in love with helping people, started his own nonprofit, started a Bible study. I was a Hollywood little, starlet on a soap opera, was invited by a friend to his Bible study, walked in the door. We became instant connection, friends, and I married him within a year. Been married 22 years.
Nice. Congrats.
And joined him in his nonprofit venture, and that is the Tesoro Ministry Foundation. So we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We have two parts to our ministry. So the first part is faith-based. So my husband, is a pastor. He's more like evangelistic in the standpoint that he never built a church. He travels and he helps build churches and goes and uplifts the other pastors.
Okay.
But we don't call him like evangelist Tony. Nobody knows what that is. It's just, he's Pastor Tony or Tony. But really, he's more evangelistic. So, he goes out, helps, speaks, uplifts the church. And we are faith-based, so we're sharing God's love. Okay, but we're very inclusive, not exclusive. So we welcome and really love all faiths and all people of all faiths. So we do not discriminate against anybody, but we just tell them this is our belief and God loves you. And that's if you want to know more, we share more, but we welcome all. And secondly, we have a charitable division. So we do charitable outreach in the U.S. and around the world. And our main primary focus is basic necessities. So we believe that people need to be loved by God and know God's love, and they need to be given food and shelter and clothing, because you can tell people God loves them, and if they're starving, they're not going to hear you.
That's right.
So we do outreach to make sure that, people get clothed where it's needed, that people get fed, that if people need housing, medical supplies. Our ministry is partnered with other organizations that help bring those necessities to underprivileged people.
Okay, so then let's give that information to our listeners. Tell us about the foundation, where they can find information.
So our nonprofit website is tesoro.cc. It's very simple.
Okay, spell Tesoro for us now.
Tesoro
Okay.
.cc.
Okay.
And then our Instagram and Facebook for our ministry is actually called Life is for Living TV.
Life is for Living TV.
Because that is a wing of our ministry where we do a podcast and we do a web series.
Oh, so you have your own podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
And web series.
Okay.
We've been on hiatus though for about a year because we've been so busy, and people are like, when are you bringing your web series back? And but
we can still find it, right?
You can still find it.
Okay, so let's give them the name of that.
Life is for Living.tv, and the YouTube for that is Tesoro Entertainment.
Okay.
So you can find everything on Tesoro Entertainment YouTube, from our ministry show to my pageant endeavors to family videos. It's really just our family station.
Okay.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Nice. So this is Ashley Tesoro, our Mrs. Nevada.
And Mrs.
And
Universe.
soon to be-
No, I'm Mrs. Universe now.
Okay, let's
Wait,
flip
former Mrs. Nevada. Current
Former
Mrs.
Mrs.
Universe.
Current Mrs.
Yes.
Universe.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes,
Is there
ma'am.
anything else you'd like our listeners to know?
Well, so do you want me to do my announcement? Are we ready for that? Or do
Oh, you have an announcement. That's
I
right. Okay,
do.
give it to us.
I do. Okay. So I'm very excited to announce that I will be accepting the contract and the title of Mrs. Universe International 24 to 25 under the same umbrella of this current organization that I'm working with, Universe International Organization. We are very excited. I am really thrilled to be receiving this new title and also an extension of my contract. And I was basically selected and awarded the title based off of my very stellar run this last year and all the things that I've been doing. And so I am really excited when I was presented with the opportunity because I get to continue all my work uninterrupted, continue my reign, but just with a slightly different title. And we'll be holding our next pageant in Vegas in July of 2025.
Okay.
So I will not be passing my crown down to my successor until 2025. So I'm basically going to be with the organization for another year.
She's keeping the crown.
And it's great.
Okay.
Yes, but I will be receiving a different title, but basically with the same responsibilities. And I'm just so excited.
What are some of the responsibilities you guys hold? I mean, what do you have to do?
Yes. Okay. So, you hear of beauty pageants and you think, okay, well, they're just cute girls that walk on stage in bathing suits and gowns and then they get a crown. But and I believe that in general, that's not true because all pageant women do a lot more work than that.
And do they still wear the bathing suit?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
Okay.
So we get, in our competition, we get judged off of our charity work. Mm-hmm. So we have to have charitable endeavors. Like you cannot not be a giver in your community or have a platform or a cause and win. It's just, you just can't.
Okay.
Number 2, we are judged on our interview. So there is a panel of judges, doctors, lawyers, models, 5 to 8 judges that have all different walks of life, professors, and you have to sit and answer questions, much like how I'm answering your questions. It's just not a radio interview, but it's an interview about my life and my endeavors, about my, what I will do if I get the title. And then we are judged off bathing suit score, evening gown score, and these are kind of all put together to create your score and determine the winner. So when I won the title, I not only won the crown, but I also won the Community Service Award, which is a whole separate award.
I love that.
Yeah, so
what
that's
are some
amazing.
of the things that you're doing in the community?
Yes, so let me answer that question. Yeah. So our responsibilities are charity. Okay. So we have women with a crown, we have a platform. So we have a main platform that we work with, right? So mine, of course, my main platform is my own ministry foundation, but I also work with battered women's shelters. I work, in the school system.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, I work with Living Grace Homes.
Oh, Living Grace Homes. Okay.
Yes, okay. And Shade Tree. And I also have a heart for feeding people, so I work with 3 Square.
Okay.
I've worked with multiple other charities in the state of Nevada and outside of Nevada. And additionally, public appearances. So we're promoting our brand. We're promoting what we're doing. We're doing events. So, if there are charity events in the community, we show up, we support the cause, we lend, our voice to that cause. So we get to choose what we believe in and what we want to propel forward. Okay. So we're not, in my pageant system, we're not dictated to what we have to do, but we have to do something. Okay. So it's like, you need to do something, but I'm not going to tell you what, because it's supposed to be authentic to yourself. So we do have, requirements of, if you're holding a title and you're not doing charity work, you're not going to keep that title. I know women that have been stripped of their title because they signed the contract and they just don't do any charity. Oh, and wow. You can't do that. They don't show up to any events. They're not promoting their brand. They're not being involved in their community. So you can't get the crown and put it on the shelf. You have to do something with it.
I love that.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know they were so active.
Oh, we're active.
Okay.
I think married women's pageants, we are the most active in our communities.
So, I would think so as a mom, right?
Yes.
So if someone wanted to reach out to you and ask you to be a part of their cause, how do they do that? How would they reach you?
So I am most active on Instagram. I do have Facebook, but I'm most active on Instagram. So all of my social media is my name. So it's at Ashley Tesoro. That's for Instagram. That's for Facebook. I think that those are my main 2. And then, of course, you can always send me an email through the website, our ministry website. Yes. So, but social media is, just DM me and reach out.
Well, there you have it. Yes. It's Ashley Tesoro, y'all. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. I want to thank Slug in the Magazine once again. And I am here. It's Where I Am every Saturday at 7:30 a.m. Thanks for tuning in. Come back and tune in next week. I'll be here. Talk to you later. Bye.